Welcome, dear audience, to the final episode of Disney Diarrhea. It has been a long journey of skid marks that none of us wish to take, but alas, it was a journey that we got. And although what we have witnessed may have left a blanket of AIDS across the planet, I like to think that it brought us all together in complete apathy. Because after all, there's only so many times Disney can beat a dead franchise until everybody just doesn't care anymore. What a complete bucket of DEI sick that company is. So for the last time in this series, let's get into audience. Let's collectively see how Disney owned the chuds this time with their AI generated script of complete and utter crap. So beginning here we are with the character of many expressions, Bon Queef, who's having a bit of a forcegasm in a master's helmet right now that she put on at the end of episode 6. But suddenly out of nowhere goes level 10 stunning and brave, because although we've witnessed absolutely none of her force abilities so far, in episode 8 she's now really strong in the force. And as the dumb head audience, we have to accept that with no questions asked. So the master, who's getting a complete facial of force goo, takes the helmet off where she gets tanning him. Oh lordy, that was better than a night with Harvey Weinstein. I dreamt I was a world famous comedian with my very own Netflix stand-up special. But also Shanique was there and she was killing Squidman without the use of a weapon. My god, reads the master, that's incredible. I have been saying this entire time that she needs to kill without the use of a weapon, and the payoff is worth it. Oh, and also Bon Queef, you'll never believe this, but what you saw was actually the future. No way! You're telling me with the Force I can literally see future events, but a crack team of slightly sloped roof snipers couldn't see an assassin preparing to take a shot with a crowd of people screaming that he was right there. Yes! That's exactly what I'm saying, but in this scenario, there's still time to stop your sister. Oh, okay then, let's go get that bitch. Alright, looks like this whole diarrhea bucket is heading towards a big old fight scene that no one will care about. So let's head over to Squidman, who's just finishing up telling Shanique how he stabbed her bitch mum to death. And it was totally an accident. So as they get re-raging at each other over the shit no one cares about, Shanique starts putting a sneaky on Squidman by using a go-go gadget to do whatever the plot demands robot that for some reason she still has to break the bonds of her Weinstein restraints. And SpaghettiOs, she manages to escape, then run across the ship into a pod and get flying off, all because Squidman was having a really big cry. Wow, what a really cool scene. Just managed to escape the entire ship because Squidman didn't check her pockets. It's almost as if he had to be a dumbass again just so the plot happened. You know, like that time Squidman didn't even notice the giant fucking witch tattoo on her forehead for almost an entire episode. So it's big chase time because Squidman doesn't take no for an answer, and he needs her to present as evidence to the Jedi Bros that her and Bon Queef are Force babies. Because up until now, they've had absolutely no evidence to prove it. Well, unless they consider the fucking blood test results they had 16 freaking years ago. Anyway, lots of space rocks, lots of chasing, and then Shanique straight up crashes into a planet, and hopefully she died on impact. So let's go for a scene transmission to the planet Croissant, where the LGTV Jedi man is telling Shrek that there's a donkey here to see her. So she gets heading in, telling Eddie Murphy to get out of her swamp. But it turns out he's making waffles. Why have you and the LGTV Jedi inspector been investigating a recent spate of murders and not telling anyone else about it? Oh, that? Yeah, don't worry about it, big guy. It's just a couple of Jedi getting brutally murdered. There is nothing to see here. Yeah, alright then, that totally makes sense. I'm just gonna do a complete 180 on this conversation and start asking, why don't you like me, bitch? Is it because I'm doing an external review of the Jedi? Well, let me tell you, Shrek, you asshats have a lot of unchecked power, and your religion is totally fake, and I am here to stop it. That was a really interesting line of dialogue for the final episode. It's almost like Leslie Headland thinks she's getting a second season to explore this further. You ain't getting shit, Headland. Your show is terrible and so is your ratings. Well, that was another scene that went absolutely nowhere, so let's head over to Bon Queef and the Master, who are now heading to find Shanique, because she knows where she is. But before they leave, a very special little guy has a question to ask. Hey Bon Bon, do you want to be my Padawan? No thanks. Oh, okay then, never mind. Well, that was yet more dialogue that went absolutely nowhere, but as they fly away in the ship, suddenly there's Gollum in the Batcave, who may or may not have AIDS, because they're really trying to get that second season, and it just isn't gonna happen now. Alright then, so where are they heading? Well, they're heading to where Shanique crash landed. The planet of dead cat ladies that Squidman flew her to for some kind of reason just so this plot can happen. And now, he's searching very hardly for her by using the forced Bluetooth Wi-Fi method, which for some reason he couldn't use in episode 4 to find the Wookiee with AIDS, but now he can. Strange how things only work when the plot demands it. But just before he had gotten out of that ship, he had turned on his Bluetooth Wi-Fi space tracker that he turned off at the end of episode 6, so Shrek now knows where he is, and she's going to bring a crack team of Jedi with her to get investigating like some kind of retarded Magnum PI. But while that's happening, here comes Bon Queef, who's not only a super hilarious space comedian, but also a really stunning and brave space fighter pilot. God bless that Bon Queef. Is there anything that she can't do? Well, actually, yes. So any emotions for once in her shit life. Anyway, she gets disabling the master space controls for some kind of reason that leads to absolutely nowhere as they get landing while Squidman is down below remembering all those cat ladies that he hate crime to death in episode 7. And also that bridge where he fake killed Shanique. It's so sad. But as he gets walking away, it turns out Shanique was there the entire time. So she gets looking around while Bon Queef is hotwiring the front door control panel because not only is she a super hilarious space comedian, she's also a brave space engineer who could do anything the plot demands. She is a woman with agency who's taking down the patriarchy one unfounded qualification at a time. So she repairs it and a door can now open. You know, by using the electricity generated by the energy core that fucking exploded. What a steaming pile of utter Crayon shite. But while that's happening, Squidman gets confronted by none other than Helmet Man, also known as the Master, who turns up out of literally nowhere, so it's immediately big fight time. Well, that's so cool. I bet Squidman feels really stupid right now for not stopping him in episode 5 just so this scene can happen. Anyway, flashy fighting, really cool. But little do they realise there's about to be the clashing of stunning and brave down below between Shanique and Bon Queef. Hey bitch, Reese the Queefer, all this Otto SpaghettiOs where the entire coven of cat ladies died was all because you didn't want me to become a Jedi now, wasn't it? No, Reese Shanique, it wasn't me, it was Squidman. He killed Mama to death. You're lying, you twat. You ruined my entire life. So it's big fight time, literally no one cares, and as everyone is having a big re-raging meltdown, Shrek arrives and gets pulling up in her space mobile. Oh, and also Squidman, who's fighting like an absolute beaver out there, breaks the Master's lightsaber, rendering him defenseless. And he's gonna die. Like, really die. Because there is just no way out of this. But as they're standing there, Shanique comes out of literally nowhere and steals Squidman's lightsaber after beating him off. Good, says Helmet Man. Strike that Squiddy boy down. I can't, cries out Shanique. I'm just gonna throw this lightsaber to the side because the plot will demand it, and tell you, Master Man, I may want revenge, but as the twin sister of a super hilarious space comedian, I want Squidman to confess to Bon Bon and the Jedi Council that he killed my bitch mama to death. I just wanted to protect you from the cat radies. You and Bon Queef are incredibly stunning and brave, and the fact you two are Force babies means your power level is over 9,000. You gotta believe me, Shanique. I was trying to protect you. But as he gets confessing to killing the historically accurate legendary Queen of England Anne Boleyn, the Queefer overhears everything. If you killed my mama, why didn't you tell the Jedi Council the truth? It's because if I confessed to everything at the time, I would have had no evidence to show them that you two were Force babies created by a lesbian cat lady. And I needed to protect you. You must believe me, Bon Queen. I wanted to tell you the truth this entire time-aroo. Oh, okay, that's interesting that you say you had no evidence, because if I remember correctly, you took our blood, analysed it, and it came back exactly the same, indicating that we were exact copies of each other. What was the point of taking your blood if you're gonna claim you had no evidence when you clearly did? I don't know, Bon Queen. I think I'm just spouting Leslie Headland diarrhea again, because her plot holes are about as retarded as Kimberly Cheetle's claim that elite sniper units were not allowed to be on slightly sloped roofs due to health and safety concerns when there's clearly pictures of snipers on fucking sloped roofs. So Bon Qui starts to really think about what she has just learned, and then her face is overcome with a boiling pit of emotional rage. So she straight up starts Vadering him to death. And she's doing all of that without the use of a weapon. That must mean her Jedi Force visions at the start of the episode was her all along. It's a shame she didn't notice in her vision that there wasn't a giant fucking witch tattoo on the forehead now. I guess everyone just has to be incredibly dumb for the plot to happen. Well, Squiddy's dead and the Queefer is evil, and we know that because a lightsaber in her hand suddenly becomes red.
Ooh, you're odd.
So let's head for a scene transmission to Shrek, who has just landed with a merry band of globally diverse Jedi. And she's looking absolutely fine after that hyperspace travel. Even though 2 episodes ago, they said that she gets sick in hyperspace. Way to be consistent, you fucking dinguses. But as she stands there admiring the downfall of Disney, suddenly she gets a forced jizz attack in her head because she's sensing the Master is close by. Could that be because the Master was her former Padawan this entire time? Well, obviously, Leslie Headland has all the subtlety of a guy using a rangefinder at a political rally. But while that's happening, Shani gets telling Bon Qui that it is time to get out of this place. So they get rolling just as the Jedi get moving in. My god, says Shrek. I'm having such a big force rage right now because I'm literally hearing the events of what happened 16 years ago. Ugh, I'm now finding out it was Squidman who killed the historically accurate Queen of England all along. And he's dead. I am so sad right now. But while that's happening, the Jedi are hot on the tail of the twins using the pansexual non-conforming they-them gopher. And they better be quick about it because the Master has just found them first, saying, "Oi, you utter dildos, we need to get out of this place right now." Oh, don't worry, Master Man, says Bon Qui. I'll explain everything to the Jedi and they'll totally understand. Bitch, are you dumb? When they find out that you two are the power of 2 and your power levels are incredible, they are going to kill you to death. Fair enough. Shame they didn't kill me at the start of this show and saved everybody from this utter diarrhea. I tell you what, how's about you let Shanique go and not kill her to death for betraying you a couple of episodes ago, and I will be your Padawan. No way, you want to be my Padawan? Alright, that's pretty cool, but I'll have to go full Men in Black on her ass and wipe her memory of everything to stop her from dobbing us into the Jedi, including her memory of you, Bon Bon. And so they all agree that this is a fantastic plan, although I'd much rather they all died. Anyway, Shani gets a memory wipe just as the Jedi are arriving. Oi, what's going on over here then? Have you got all your licenses? My god, she's got a gun! You're fucking nicked, mate. So she gets arrested and transported to planet Crescent, where Shrek gets asking her whether she knows why she's here. It's because I apparently killed someone, but I don't remember anything apart from being the bassist in a super cool Jedi funk rock band. Man, cocaine is one hell of a drug. Oh, and I remember my mum, the former Queen of England, getting killed by somebody. Yes, that man who did the inside job was none other than George Bush the Jedi. And so Shrek gets telling the Jedi Council all about what happened in the plot and how Squidman killed everyone and he's a very, very naughty boy. And then there's Yoda for some kind of reason. Remember Yoda? He was in the films and they even had Death Stars. And that concludes the worst piece of crap Disney has ever released. Well done to the juggernaut of never-ending cringe for destroying what was once the epitome of globally accessible good storytelling. I guess that artificially inflated stock price will rocket forever upwards on good vibes and immutable characteristics. Because in the real world, no one is buying their shit. Alright then, so where do we go from here, audience? Well, I'll be continuing the 2020s crap simulation series, so be prepared to not see any of it in your video feed because it'll get demonetized and age restricted like the last time. Oh, and then comes the Rings of Power. Can't wait for that one. Big shout out to all my Patreon boys and guys. You are the reason my mummy calls me a special little boy. Love you all very much.
Subscribe button.
Is always right.